There may come a time in your research where you have to strip and reprobe your membrane. This is especially true if you're detecting a chemi signal. Well, in cases like this, multiplexing just might not be an option, so your alternative is to strip your primary and secondary antibodies from your membrane. However, when possible, stripping really should be avoided. Now, if you do have to strip your membrane, you don't know exactly what you are removing when you're stripping, because the loss of the protein is random and unpredictable. Because of all of this, you do lose the ability to quantitate your relative signal of the amount of protein from your first detection to the second detection. Also, each antibody-antigen pair does have a unique binding interaction, so there's really no guaranteed method to remove every antibody while still preserving your antigen. Whenever possible, it's highly recommended to multiplex multiple targets on one membrane instead of stripping it. One of the major advantages of NIR Western blots over chemi Western blots is the ability to multiplex two targets with the same molecular weight on the same membrane. Multiplexing means that you can probe for and image two or more targets in one image acquisition. If your primary antibodies for your targets are generated in the same host species and you can't multiplex, well then you'll want to consider labeling your primary antibody with a fluorophore instead. If multiplexing is not an option, you can run your samples in duplicate on the same gel and then cut your membrane vertically. You're going to want to incubate each side with a different primary antibody. Now, this method is still considered a better alternative and yields more accurate results than stripping and reprobing your membrane. Now, there are circumstances where stripping and reprobing your membrane is unavoidable. If you do have to strip and reprobe your membrane, dry that membrane after transfer. Drying the membrane will increase the retention of the proteins on your membrane, and it will reduce the variability that arises from stripping your membrane. Now, there are several different types of stripping buffers available. Some stripping buffers are specific to the membrane that you're using, while others are specific to the detection method. You're going to want to ensure that you choose a stripping buffer that is specific to your membrane type and your detection method. Now that you're more familiar with your options for stripping and some alternative methods to stripping, we're going to discuss how to save your membrane for future probing.